Okay, hands up. Who here has ever been, trying to fall asleep, maybe it's 1 a.m., and instead of drifting off, your brain decides, nope, 2 a.m. is the perfect time to host an emergency audit of every bad decision you've ever made.
And not just that, but also solve, I don't know, the city's plumbing issues while you're at it.
Right. It's that horrible feeling when your mind just gets stuck, like a problem-solving robot that has a glitch and will not turn off.
Yeah, playing the same what-if scenario on a loop until you're just exhausted. We call it the paralysis of analysis.
And look, thinking is good.
Yeah,
We want you to be a thoughtful human. But when your mind traps you in that cycle of worry, it's not productive anymore. It's just a stress factory.
it really is.
So our mission for this deep dive is to get past the psychology and jump straight into the hidden stuff, the chemical, and believe it or not, the microbial side of why we get so stuck in that loop.
What's so fascinating is how the mind tricks the body into keeping this whole thing going. We think of stress as, a mental thing.
A reaction to a problem.
Right. But when you dwell on that stress, the thought itself actually triggers the physical stress hormone, cortisol. You are literally activating your body's fight or flight system just by thinking.
So you're sitting there running a worst case scenario in your head and your hormones are going, got it, confirmed, we are currently being chased by a tiger.
Precisely. And that physical high alert state feeds cortisol back into your system, which then tells the brain, hey, things are definitely bad, keep worrying.
It's a classic vicious cycle.
The worst kind. It doesn't matter if the crisis is real or just something you're imagining for next Tuesday. Your body is all in. And that's what chronic anxiety really feels like, just exhaustion from fighting this invisible battle inside you.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit more seriously.
Yeah.
When people are deep in that obsessive thinking loop, the standard approach is often to try and fix a serotonin imbalance.
Right, usually with a specific class of drugs, the SSRIs.
Yeah.
Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors.
That's the one.
And the thinking goes something like this. Anxiety and depression are linked to low serotonin. So these drugs act like little chemical dams. They block the serotonin from getting reabsorbed too quickly.
They block the transporter.
They block the SERTs. Yeah, keeping what little serotonin you have available in that gap between neurons, the synapse, for just a little bit longer.
So you're just trying to make the meager rations last. But here's where it gets, well, complicated and frankly a little unnerving. This whole mechanism, it comes with a really terrible package of side effects long term.
It's the body's natural pushback. The drug is forcing serotonin to linger longer than your body thinks is normal. So over time, the body tries to reestablish its own balance.
Now, how did it do that?
By performing a major structural change, it actually starts downgrading the serotonin receptors themselves.
Yeah.
Reducing their sensitivity, their number.
Wait, hold on. That sounds like a long-term penalty. So if you were a bit deficient before, now your brain is making itself less efficient at using serotonin.
That's the absolute crux of the problem. What started as a temporary fix ends up creating a long-term structural deficiency. You become reliant on the medication just to function at a baseline that might actually be lower than where you started.
And it doesn't just stop at serotonin, does it? These drugs don't operate in a vacuum.
Not at all. They have major impacts on other critical chemicals. Dopamine, for example.
The reward and motivation chemical.
Exactly. And when that gets impacted, well, that's what leads us to that brutal side effect that you see described as SSRI zombie syndrome.
Zombie syndrome. I mean, it's an awful name, but it really captures that experience of emotional flattening, doesn't it? Losing the ability to feel pleasure, joy, even sadness.
It's the sensation of feeling utterly numb. The obsessive problem-solving loop might be quieter, but you haven't solved it. You've just traded anxious distress for numb indifference.
You're just chemically discouraged from engaging with life. We need a better escape hatch than that.
You really do. One that doesn't involve neutralizing your entire emotional response system.
So, if messing with the receptors leads to these huge long-term problems, let's pivot. What's the foundational nutritional imbalance that's often driving this whole thing in the first place?
Well, the list of things that can deplete serotonin is long stress, diet, but the most accessible, high-impact key is often a really severe deficiency of vitamin D.
Vitamin D. I know, it sounds so simple, right? Like something your grandma tells you to take. How can sunshine in a pill have such a massive effect on mental health?
Because vitamin D isn't just a vitamin. It acts like a prohormone, a critical regulator for the whole production line. It's essential for an enzyme called tryptophan hydroxylase 2.
TPH2.
PPH2.
Okay.
It is the gatekeeper. It's the enzyme that synthesizes serotonin in the brain. If you're low on vitamin D, TPH2 production slows way down, and your brain It just makes less serotonin to begin with.
Ah, that connects the dots immediately. That's why so many people get the blues or seasonal affective disorder in the winter. It's not just cabin fever.
It's a genuine chemical depletion.
Yeah.
The lack of sunlight is blocking that whole TPH2 mechanism.
That's the real aha moment.
It is. And when you look at studies that compare high-dose vitamin D to certain antidepressants, they can produce the exact same antidepressive effects. But, and this is the key difference, vitamin D supports the natural production line without causing that damaging long-term receptor downgrade.
Okay, you said high dose. We're talking to a pretty well-informed audience here. 10,000 IUs of D3 daily. That sounds like a lot compared to what's on the shelf.
It does, and that's a necessary question. The standard dose is designed to prevent, bone disease, not to treat a severe neurotransmitter deficiency.
So it's a totally different goal.
A totally different goal. The research shows that to get your levels up for neurological support, you often need much higher doses, 10,000 IUs or even more, especially if you live far from the equator. It's about aggressively correcting a systemic problem.
Okay, so if the macro fix is the sun, is it possible the micro fix is even deeper inside us? Let's shift gears. What if your mental state is being ruined by something you took for a sore throat 5 years ago?
That takes us into the deepest dive of all, the gut microbiome. We have trillions of microbes in our gut, responsible for creating over 90% of our body's serotonin.
90%. Wow.
Over 90%, which then signals the brain. So if you take a broad-spectrum antibiotic, you don't just kill the bad guys, you wipe out huge colonies of these crucial serotonin producers.
The antibiotic problem. You solve one infection, but you might be creating a lifelong mood issue.
And those beneficial microbes, they're sensitive. A lot of the time, once they're killed off, they just never come back. So the person is left in this state of chronic, unexplained anxiety, totally unaware of the physical cause.
And there's one specific player, right? A tiny missing friend whose absence seems to correlate perfectly with this modern overthinking crisis.
Yes, that specific player is Lactobacillus reuteri, or L. reuteri. This microbe it's absolutely critical for mental well-being, but due to modern life diet, antibiotics, C-sections, it's virtually gone, non-existent in about 96% of the population.
We've basically sterilized ourselves out of having this crucial ally, so reintroducing it isn't just about general gut health. It's about solving that core stress loop we started with, the triple threat fix.
Exactly, because it works on multiple fronts at once. First, yes, it helps with general anxiety by directly boosting serotonin production in the gut.
Flooding the system with the good stuff. What's the second threat?
The second, and this is the most important part, is that L. reuteri significantly increases production of oxytocin.
The love hormone.
The love hormone. We think of it for bonding, trust. But here's the magic trick. Oxytocin is a powerful anti-stress agent. It directly inhibits the release of cortisol.
Wait, so a gut microbe boosts the love hormone, and the love hormone is the ultimate antidote to the stress hormone. That's incredibly elegant biology.
It completely reverses the stress loop. Instead of anxiety producing cortisol, the microbe helps you produce oxytocin, which actively shuts the cortisol response down. It forces the body out of fight or flight.
And the third part, can it help people who suffered that emotional flattening, the zombie syndrome?
Yes, that's the third part of the fix. For those who experience that loss of pleasure, reintroducing this microbe can help reestablish those feelings by supporting natural serotonin and dopamine levels again. It's about building the system back up from the ground up.
That's incredible, but if it's almost gone from the population, how do you reintroduce it effectively? It's not just grabbing a standard probiotic pill, is it?
Not reliably, no. To get the extremely high concentrations you need to really colonize the gut and get that oxytocin boost, you need a lot more than a standard capsule can offer.
So what's the method?
The highly recommended method is to take a specific high-concentration supplement and use it to culture your own fermented food, something like a yogurt. That process concentrates the bacteria exponentially.
Okay, let's summarize this. The prescription for clarity. If you are stuck in that endless 3 a.m. problem-solving loop, we have two big nutritional priorities.
First, address the foundation, high-dose vitamin D. At least 10,000 IUs of D3 every single day to get that TPH2 enzyme making the serotonin you need.
And second, address the missing ally in your gut.
Exactly. Focus on reestablishing L. reuteri, ideally in that highly concentrated, cultured format. That tackles the stress loop from the other end by boosting serotonin and using oxytocin as a shield against cortisol.
This all raises a really important question for you to think about. We usually treat anxiety as a mental game, right? We think we need therapy or meditation to think our way out of it.
But when you realize how dramatically the sun and a single tiny microbe can regulate our emotions and our stress hormones, where should we really be looking for solutions?
The problem might not be that you're worrying too much. It might just be that a missing chemical or microbe is making your brain think it has to worry obsessively.
It's a hardware problem, not a software problem.
So next time you're lying awake solving all the world's problems, just ask yourself, is this brilliant, urgent analysis? Or is my gut just begging for a little sunshine and a tiny missing friend to tell the cortisol to just chill out?